Look around. You can find cars like these on AutoTrader, like that car riding your tail. Or if you're tailgating right now, all those cars doubling as kitchens and living rooms are on AutoTrader too. Are you working out and listening to this ad at the same time? Well, multitasking pro, cars like the ones in the gym parking lot are for sale on AutoTrader. New cars, used cars, electric cars, maybe even flying cars. Okay, no flying cars, but as soon as they get invented, they'll be on AutoTrader. Just you wait. AutoTrader.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. Or, if you've been using our hashtag lately, hashtag EPEEP for short. So, I'm not going to sit here and lollygag too much because this is a fine episode. So, my name is Wrestling Chris G from Sports Entertainment Breakdown. And on the other line with as my co-host, he is the cool one with the sunglasses. It's good old Dougie Fresh. Dougie, man, how you doing?
I'm the leader.
Squirt. But we're getting ready to review the Here Comes the Squirtle Squad, or as it's translated from Japanese, the Zenigame. It's been a week and I didn't even Google Translate.
You were so happy last week.
I know.
You were so happy. You were like, I'm on top of this. I'll be ready. Here it is for people. But it's been a week since they've heard it. You know, maybe they forgot. Maybe they don't want to go back in their podcast feeds.
Oh, I'm about to do it right now. Listen. Okay, Zenigame. Okay. Or as it's translated, the Zenigame Squad appears. There you go. So
I like the Squirtle Squad better.
I like the Squirtle Squad better too. But because sometimes Japan gets us with those titles, and we like the Japanese translation better than we do here. But yeah, I like my good old little Squirtle. Squirt. So what we like to do here on the podcast, and you should be used to this by now, but if we have someone that's just joining in, we like to go back in history from when this show first aired. So this episode aired in Japan, June 17th, 1997, and here in the U.S., it aired September 23rd, 1998. And me and good old Dougie Fresh picked two events that happened around this date in different years, not the exact same year, but I have in 1962, ABC's first color TV series, The Jetsons, made its first broadcast. And that's a doozy.
That is pretty impressive. You think the early days of cartoons, you think the Jetsons, you think the Flintstones. Obviously you had more Yogi Bear, and then you had, the shorts with, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and all that. But
that was the dark era of Bugs Bunny.
Well, yeah.
Those are the episodes of Bugs Bunny we don't like to talk about. But yeah, I like it, and to be completely honest and transparent, I'm not even gonna lie. I still to this day turn on Boomerang if it says the Jetsons or the Flintstones or something like that, and I will sit and watch a 15-20 minute cartoon of like the olden day cartoons when they air it on Boomerang.
Oh, good shit.
Yeah. I love me some olden day cartoons, but I got to turn it on when the wife is asleep. So this is probably like around 11 or 12 o'clock at night when I'm still awake and I can't sleep. That's when I turn on the good stuff. And I found out every day Nicktoons airs SpongeBob on a marathon from, I believe it's like 8 or 9 o'clock Central Time, all the way until like 6 a.m. So
Jesus.
I always have some SpongeBob to like lean on if I'm up in the middle of the night and can't sleep.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
yeah, that's my go-to.
I mean, do you remember? Well, we might not remember, but TV shows used to go off at a certain, or not TV networks used to go off at a certain
Yeah,
point.
they did. And I remember the days back when, like, before cable got like upgraded to like all the extra like hundreds of channels that you can get.
Yeah.
When you had the basics, like you would have Nickelodeon, and then at like 8 o'clock at night, it would make me mad because it would go from Nickelodeon to Nick at Night. And
Oh, you weren't a big Nick at Night guy.
the only thing I would watch on there would be maybe 1 or 2 episodes of Taxi, or I would watch I Love Lucy because I got a kick out of that show.
You don't fuck with the Brady Bunch?
I wasn't a big Brady Bunch fan. I mean, I've seen a bunch of episodes. I wasn't the one that turned it on. My father and my mom are Brady Bunch fans, but yeah, not really my cup of tea.
All right. Or your pumpkin spice latte, as it were.
Yeah. Oh, I fuck with me some pumpkin spice. Don't even get me started on some pumpkin spice.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
But yeah, that's my on this date. And for you, Doug, what do you have for us this week?
So on this date in 1994, the Shawshank Redemption begins its run in theaters in the U.S.
Ooh, can you kind of tell me what that is?
I sure can. This movie was adapted from a story in the Stephen King novella, which is where he takes like 3 or 4 shorter stories and kind of chunks them together. It's a novella. Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption. It's about a man who is convicted of murdering his wife and her lover.
Ooh.
And is sentenced to consecutive life sentences, to be served together. So, obviously he's in there for fucking life. And he begins to hatch a plan to escape. Now, I'm at a weird spot here where the movie came out in 94. So I don't think I would be in any danger of spoiling anything for anybody. However, this is not a movie review podcast. So I won't go into it, because if I go into it, it's going to be a whole big thing, and we don't have that kind of time. What I will say, in doing my very brief, very inadequate research, and by research I mean Googling what happened on this day, and this being like the first thing that came up. The film had a budget of $25 million.
Whoa, back in the 1990s?
Right.
Okay.
And it made back at the box office 58.3. So it about doubled its money.
All right, good shit.
And my one last tidbit that I wanted to say, because I did find this at the bottom of the article and I was intrigued. This film received 7 Oscar nominations.
Holy shit, but how many did it win?
None of them.
Whoa.
But you cut off the back half of my point.
I'm sorry.
Because it got the 7 Academy Award nominations, which is the most ever by a Stephen King adaptation.
But it didn't win anything.
Didn't win nothing.
Well, damn. All right.
But yeah, that's this the September 23rd was a case of literally punching in on this day, and this was like the first thing that came up on Google. So I was like, all right, I'm sorted, and I moved on to the next one. Because I knew all I would have to do is open up the Wikipedia. I mean, it was, but yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting ready to get into this week's episode.
Yes.
And before we get into the episode, we like to do the Who's That Pokemon of this episode, which the episode's called Here Comes the Squirtle Squad. So the Who's That Pokemon better damn well be Squirtle, and it was. So
damn, I was hoping for Seahorse.
I know. It would have made sense.
I was thinking about this.
It could have been Officer Jenny. Who's that Pokemon? It's Officer Jenny.
I was thinking about this, and it might not be as obvious of an answer for next week.
Okay.
Because I was sitting here, and because we've kind of treated the last two that everybody's heard, Bulbasaur and the Hidden Village and Charmander the Lost Pokemon. And I don't know if I hit those names 100%, but I was damn close.
You're close.
And, along with, this one that we're doing right now, the Squirtle Squad, we've kind of treated them as like an unofficial trilogy because this is Ash
catching his three starting.
Catching is generous, but acquiring
all three starter Pokemon.
The three starters. So we've kind of grouped them together, and in the early days of the show, we've kind of made a joke that the Who's That Pokemon have been rather obvious.
Yes.
Because they're obviously focusing on a Pokemon, so it's like, oh, gee, I wonder. Now, it's 50-50 on what it could be next week. Now, I think I'm confident in what it is.
I'll tell you off air.
But there's a chance it could go another way. And I wouldn't be shocked, but I would be surprised.
It's not the legendary, if that's what you're
okay. For. Well, then. Because I was like, they could pull some shit, but it's like it's only been 12 episodes. I don't know.
Yeah, they haven't gotten that ballsy yet.
That's fair because they don't actually officially recognize the legendary. No. Now that I'm sitting here thinking about it, but yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yep, they don't tell you who that figure is.
They sure don't. But if you've been playing the game,
you know exactly who it is.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, as I said, the Who's That Pokemon was Squirtle. So, we can go ahead and start diving into this wonder of an episode. Your brand new favorite that you told me off air.
Yeah, this is my new favorite. And, I mean, I feel like we're hitting a point in the show where that's going to change like every couple of weeks.
Well, wait until we get to the Electric Shock Showdown.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that coming up, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna be like, it's gonna be like switching every week, which is good, if you're diving into a new show to the point where you want to see what's happening.
Oh shit! And I forgot, we actually have an actual trilogy coming up. I'm looking at our schedule. When Ash goes to get his psychic badge, that's an actual part 1, part 2, part 3.
Well, I'm going to peel back the curtain. We will not be doing a triple record that night.
No, we will not.
We will cross that bridge when we get to it.
Luckily, we have some time. That's episodes 22, 23, and 24.
Because, we did do a little bit of I mean, I'm not going to say scheduling, but like we did talk about it. Like we did do a bit of juggling tonight. And in terms of what we were going to do, not only this week, but next week and then the week after.
Yeah.
So it's just, but yeah, I'm not sitting here for a threefer.
I'm not either. Even though what I'm sure once we start recording it, we're going to be like, damn, these are some good episodes because they go deep.
I mean, look, if we can say let's start at 7, then we might have a case for it.
We might. So,
but then that'll be something when the wrestling shows try to pull some bullshit on us,
and we're like, yeah, we don't want to record this week.
So we'll see.
So, all right. So this week's episode actually starts with a nice recap that we don't get every single week, but I'm sure they felt it was necessary since this is the ending of what we're calling the trilogy starters.
Yeah, and this kind of lends a little bit of weight behind my theory that this is, I mean, because it is a trilogy, but the fact that they sat here and they said, this is what happened, 2 days ago, this is what happened yesterday, that to me is a through line. That's a connection.
Yes. So they talk about Charmander, they talk about Bulbasaur, and now Ash has 2 of the 3 starter Pokemon, so he can stop crying and bitching that he didn't get the Pokemon.
He cries and bitches.
Oh, I know he does.
He cries and bitches.
But this is starting to be a theme with this show, because after the recap, we go to Ash, Misty, and Brock, and Ash is like, he's like doing like a stomp type dance, like a marching dance in front of Pikachu, Misty, and Brock, just being all sorts of ballsy and cocky.
And he's humming the theme song.
Yes, he's humming the theme song,
which the narrator shouts out.
Oh, and he's just happy, but it all comes to an end in just a second, because as he's doing his little march, and I blame him on this one, because if his ass wasn't stomping on the damn ground, he might have been able to walk over this hole, but he stomps into a hole, and then all 4 of them just drop into it.
Yeah, but we kind of established, was it last week or 2 weeks ago with Bulbasaur, where these holes are made to the point where if a single Pokemon walks over it, it won't affect it. But although you might have a point, because he was considerably ahead of the others.
Yeah.
Like,
and then they caught up to him.
When I think it was the Bulbasaur, when Pikachu, no, it was Charmander, because Meowth made the crack of, are you going to remember where the hole's dug today?
Yes.
Because Pikachu walked over it by itself, but Ash, Misty, and Brock essentially tried to go over it as a group, and I am of the way of thinking that the 3 of them together
just made it cave in.
Right.
And you're honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, you're probably right. That's probably what happened here. But they fall into the hole, and rewind to previous episodes. As soon as this happens, what are your first initial thoughts as to who dug these holes?
My first initial thought was they're getting Team Rocket out of the way early today.
And they fall in, and then we actually get the intro into the episode where it says, "Here comes the Squirtle Squad." And
I had an issue with this hole.
Why? It was too long, too deep.
Initially, when they fell down it and they were all sitting there at the bottom, it looked like they were just about a hair away from China. Or, maybe America, depending on where you are, on what side of the world you are. But then, they do the title card, and then, they find out that it was the Squirtle because they all peer down the hole. And then all of a sudden Ash just popping back up like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Like it looked like they were going to have to try to rig like a grappling hook or something. Like they were going to have to do like a rope thing, but Ash just popped up. So how deep is this hole?
I mean, the hole seemed like it was pretty damn deep, but I mean, maybe he's used to it by now because they've had to climb out of a lot of Team Rocket holes. So maybe he's just a pro and he has that upper body strength now.
That's fair. I mean, but I would imagine that the Squirtle dug holes are probably a little better because they look like they might be knowing what they're doing.
Yeah. So I mean, and it seems pretty dry out, so I'm sure it was a little easy to kind of grip the hard rock and climb out. But yeah, they climb out of this hole, and when they get out of the hole, Ash is basically like, "Well, what the hell?" And they look, and he looks up, and there's these 5 Squirtles just sitting there laughing, and they all have sunglasses, but the one in the middle has the cool sunglasses.
Yeah, you know, there's a word.
The old school gangster
No, I was trying to think of what you would call the other 4s, the flunkies of the group.
Yeah, the flunkies have the
just regular circles.
Sunglasses. Yeah. And the one in the middle has the pointy black sunglasses, just look at all sorts of cool.
And I mean, you know, if you're, you know, a kid watching them, you go, oh, his sunglasses are different. He must be more important, which, you know,
he's the leader.
He's the leader. Exactly. Call back to the opening. Now, cynical 30 whatevers like we are, we sit there and go, well, that's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
But the show wasn't made for us to be watching it at 30. So
it wasn't.
I tried to put myself in the mind of, you know, whatever in the fuck, 10-year-old Doug.
You were 9.
I don't remember. I don't.
Well, this was in 98 in September. So yeah, you had just turned 9.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay. I can't do math. But yeah, I'm sitting there going, 9-year-old Doug would probably think that's pretty cool.
And we did.
And we did. I still kind of do, if I'm honest with you.
Like we wanted that Squirtle with the sunglasses.
Yeah, I've got a point I would like to make as we're wrapping this up.
Okay.
That I've kind of no, as we're wrapping up, like the entire episode as its entirety.
Oh, okay.
That I've kind of been chewing on since I watched this episode this afternoon.
Gotcha. But after he climbs out of this hole, I have a problem with this because it's every single time, but we got to get used to it because he does it every single time. Does he not know what a fucking Squirtle is? That he has to take out his...
saying their name.
Yeah, they're like Squirtle, and he takes out his Pokedex to see what these Pokemon are. Like, you knew what Pokemon Professor Oak had. Like, this is the 3rd week in a row where he's like, what is this starter Pokemon?
Yeah, and, you know, go back to my point about him watching tape and him knowing the starters and him, you know, being shot down 3 times and saying, oh, this is the one I really wanted. Like, he knows what they are when he's standing in Professor Oak's lab in his pajamas. Now, I would like to take a second and play devil's advocate for Ash pulling out the Pokédex.
Okay.
Because it might not be as simple as he doesn't know what it is. He might just be trying to pick up facts. Now, Ash hasn't really shown that the information he's picking up from Dexter's sinking in, but it could just be second nature. He's like, new Pokemon, I know what it is, but, you know, what's an interesting fact, or what's something that I don't know, you know?
You know, that is true, because Professor Oak did give him this Pokedex to go out and start scanning Pokemon to register their information into the Pokedex.
Right.
But that's kind of ass backwards, because it's telling him what the damn Pokemon is. So what's the point of scanning these Pokemon? Besides it being an encyclopedia to tell you what it is.
Well, maybe, and I'm reading something in that, to my knowledge, hasn't actually come up. Maybe it's, a digital check mark that I've seen this Pokemon. So maybe if he's down the road a little bit, or if he's in a battle, he can go, oh, I have the information on a Fearow or a Spear. Because I don't know if he actually got the information on a Fearow, but I have the information on a Spearow because they almost killed me once.
Yes.
Let's look that up.
More than once.
Well, this is also true. Do not throw a rock. Oh, good.
So, but yeah, he has the Pokedex tell him about the Squirtle, and it also brings up that the Squirtle's water gun attack can be very it can hurt.
Which, no shit. I mean, they call it's a water gun.
Yes.
It's a duh. I mean, I understand, but come on now, people.
But he gets it in his head. He's like, you know what? If I catch a Squirtle, Gary will be very jealous. So his motion for getting
So he doesn't know, obviously.
No. So he has no idea that Gary's first Pokemon was, Gary also didn't tell him. Because remember, he asked Gary, he said, what is your starter Pokemon? And Gary said, well, if you were here on time, you would have known.
It's also true.
I'm not going to tell you. So he sits here and he goes, Gary will be very jealous if I caught you, or unless he's thinking in his head, well, I have all the starter Pokemon plus Pikachu now, and all you have is the one Pokemon that you got from Professor Oak, even though Gary's out there just catching all sorts of Pokemon.
Yeah, I think Oak even said something like one of the first times he checked in. Like, my nephew Gary's caught like 16 Pokemon or something.
Yeah.
Maybe not 16 at that point, but it was something up there.
I think he caught his first 6 Pokemon.
6. That's what
and Gary or Professor Oak bet Gary that Ash will have at least 6 Pokemon by the time he reached the second city, but he only had 2.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's at this point that he challenges Squirtle to a Pokemon battle, which was not a good idea.
Well, first, before we get into the actual, X's and O's of it, we get this really cool shot of the stare down between the leader Squirtle and Pikachu, and it's backed up by this. It's Western music, is what it is.
Yeah,
and it's this really cool, like, back and forth, like, stare down, and it's like, that was cool.
Well, I think that might be a little later in the episode.
No, it was this point. I'm looking right at it.
Oh, gotcha. Let me see. Oh, actually, okay. This is what happened. So, Pikachu goes into battle and goes in for a thunder shock, but one of the Squirtles walks in front of the leader to take the shot for the leader and gets fried. And at that point, Pikachu and the main leader Squirtle have the stare down.
Oh, was I
Yeah.
a step out? Okay.
Yeah, it just a step.
Oh, yeah, okay, I was. Okay, I could have sworn. I mean, it would have worked either way.
Oh, no. And I'm not calling you out. I just, because I wanted to make a point that this is the leader of the Squirtle Squad because one of his teammates took the thunder shock for him.
Right.
And completely got fried.
Which they don't, I mean, obviously they only have, by the time the episode actually started, I think they only had like 18 minutes because they used up like, 30 seconds for the theme song, and then they used up like a minute and a half for the goddamn recap. So that's just a minute and a half, or you don't have to use new footage. So by the time they actually got into the episode where they're walking, you're already down a couple minutes, so you don't really have time to flesh it out. But I would have liked to have seen at least maybe one other instance of these lemmings taking a bullet in a respect for the leader. I mean, it was a really cool, like, where he stepped in and just took all of that thunder shock, and you could tell that the leader, he wasn't like, oh well, that's just one guy down. Like, he cared that his guy got hit.
Yeah, because we haven't gotten that far yet, but these Squirtles care for each other. It's like an actual like a gang. Like they care for each other and their family, but everybody else is basically exiles. Like we don't give a fuck about anybody else.
Yeah, and there is, a clear hierarchy, obviously, with the sunglasses, which, there doesn't. The one thing I do like is that there wasn't like a moment of tension where one of them stepped up to the one with the cruel sunglasses and was like, you motherfucker, and then got smacked down. It was just, no, he's got the cool sunglasses. He's the leader. He's the priority. Well, not the priority, but he's the one that stirs the drink.
Yeah. And at this point, after the stare down between the main Squirtle and Pikachu, the rest of the gang, the other three, pick up the now fainted, thunder shocked Squirtle, and they all just run away.
Yeah, they're gone,
including the leader.
Yeah, I mean, they're all gone, and our main three are standing there just kind of looking kind of goofy, and then we hear sirens, and Jenny rocks up, and she's like, is anybody hurt? And I was expecting them to go, no, we're all right. I mean, we fell in that hole, which apparently is gone now.
Yeah, because she just
drives over it. But,
no, well, let's be realistic. She drove around that hole.
I don't think that's a wide bike.
Yeah, it is.
It couldn't. I don't think it. Well, I don't know. It wasn't there when they went back to that shot. No, is what I'm saying to you. And this is the first time we played up, or was it the first? I feel like it's the first time they played up the. Oh, you didn't meet me. You met my cousin. Yeah,
because we had that. Actually, no. This would be the third time because he. No. Yeah, well, this isn't.
It's the third time it's come up, but this is the first time somebody's like, "Oh, here's fucking proof."
Yes. So she pulls up and he goes, "Oh, Officer Jenny," and she's like, "Do I know you?" And I'm gonna throw out, and I saw this on Twitter from someone else that watches Pokemon, and I'm gonna throw it out there, and once I throw this out there, it's gonna stick in your mind. So someone actually found out how Brock recognizes the differences between each Officer Jenny.
Okay.
So each Officer Jenny on their hat has a different symbol for the city that they're from.
Ho.
So, like there'll be a Jenny with a circle on her hat, or the one that we have right now is like, what kind of, like a ninja? It's like a ninja in the form of a ninja star, but it's gold.
Oh, okay. I'm actually getting. Yeah.
And I'm sitting here and I'm like, huh. I was like, that's actually pretty. That's a really good catch. And they don't ever say this in the series at all. Like Brock is asked multiple times in this series, how can you tell the difference between them? And I'm gonna have to look up after we're done with these recordings to find out if there's a difference between the Nurse Joys, but at least for the Officer Jennies, they all have a different symbol on their hat.
Well, and that was going to be my next question. Like, is there like an aha moment with the Jennies? I mean, that was going to be my next question.
let's see. I can actually look this up.
But so we're back at we're at the station, and Jenny's like, "Oh, this is a horrible, horrible gang we've got going on." And Misty's like, "Well, I've never heard of a Pokemon gang."
And Officer Jenny kind of puts out there that it looks like it's these gang of abandoned Squirtles, and they go around just causing havoc and stealing from anyone in stores, and they just put graffiti on walls, and they're just reckless.
Which brings up the question, and we touched on this last week, Pokemon ownership.
Yeah.
You know, she says abandoned. She doesn't say why, because it would have been easy to just have them just be a gang of wild Squirtle. Hush.
Good old Dougie Dog.
But yeah, it would have been easy to make them just a gang of wild Squirtle.
Yeah.
But no, these are abandoned, which again, how does a Pokemon become abandoned? You know, because we saw last week the idiot tried to come back and claim the Charmander.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, it doesn't, to my knowledge, it doesn't happen, but what's to stop the owner of the Squirtle come back or to, come after Ash one day?
Yeah. I don't think the owner really cares at this point, because how would Ash know unless Squirtle actually recognizes its former trainer?
Right.
So, but yeah, so Officer Jenny goes through this whole spiel about the Squirtles, and Ash starts feeling bad for the Squirtle along with Brock and Misty. And from there, I mean, we cut to an outside view of Team Rocket looking in from a hill.
And they're hungry.
Yes.
And James brings up pizza, which I know couldn't have been the actual line in Japan.
No, it probably wasn't. But I mean, they had to Americanize it and make it to where it's something that we would enjoy.
Well, I understand, but it's just one of those moments, and we got another one. Well, maybe not so much, but this one definitely was like they didn't say pizza. I know they didn't say pizza.
I want some. Oh no, I was about to say I want some rice or or some sushi.
Sushi, I think, would be the. But yeah, I mean, I could see James saying he's sick of sushi.
Yeah, sick of sushi or rice balls, because Brock loves to make rice balls.
Yes, but those get Americanized into donuts, don't they?
Yep.
I mean, which, don't get me wrong. You hand me a rice ball, you hand me a donut. I'm going to eat either one of them.
I know. Have you ever had a rice ball?
Not a proper one.
Oh, they're good, especially if you put some gravy on it. Man, just good. But
now, wait a minute. And I know this isn't the show, but fuck it. When you say gravy,
brown gravy.
Do you mean you mean like mashed potato? You're putting mashed potato gravy on a proper rice ball?
I fuck with me some brown gravy on any type of white rice. That's my shit.
I mean, but if it's a proper, like, decently made rice ball, like, you don't want to kill the flavor of the rice ball. I'm talking a little bit of soy sauce, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of soy. I can do some soy sauce on it, or I mean, they typically don't put a bunch of butter on a rice ball, because that would just make it messy. So yeah, I mean, I can do soy sauce or I can do gravy. I mean, if I'm at home and I'm just sitting at home and I'm not at a restaurant, I mean, it's gravy. But if I'm out at a restaurant or something, yeah, I'll put some damn soy sauce on it, because that's just good.
Yeah. So, Meowth and James are starving, and Jesse's like, we need to focus. This is ridiculous. And then, her stomach growls, and when her stomach growls, then it's time to eat.
Yes.
Which, she's the leader.
Because she just smacks the mess out of James and Meowth, and James has a nice little welt on his face from this slap.
Yeah, well, James deserved it. So they pull out a picnic basket,
which came out of nowhere.
Well, yes, but it's a cartoon. And they take one step back, and it's revealed that they are surrounded essentially by the Squirtle Squad.
Oh yeah, and they're ready too. And this is when the episode just starts getting funny.
Yes, because Meowth has to play translator, basically saying, give us your food or you're going to regret it.
And well, hold on. So, I mean, yeah, he plays translator, but why the hell did when they fell into this hole, Doug, did they not fall into the hole prior?
Yeah, I don't understand that. I mean, I figure, why, how does Team Rocket not fall in a hole, but the protagonists do? I was a little, but maybe we figure, we put them in enough holes, we're probably going to put them in some other shit later.
So, but yeah, Meowth likes to play translator, and then they all fall into a hole, and the Squirtle Squad starts laughing, and then they walk over and they just take the picnic basket and just start chowing away at the food. And this is when it starts getting even funnier, because Meowth there's a rice ball right there.
Yeah, and that's when James is like, they're eating all the jelly donuts and the eclairs, and one of the Squirtles has one of those jelly donuts, and I'm like, motherfucker, that's a rice ball.
Yeah, it is.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, I fuck with one of those jelly donut or whatever you call it, but
then Meowth just starts talking to the main Squirtle, saying that these are not he's not a Pokemon to them, but that they're basically following him, and that he's the good Pokemon, and just starts scratching and kicking the fuck out of Jesse and James, telling them, "Oh, just go along with the plan. Just go along," trying to get the Squirtle to let him down so they can trust him. And then Meowth just starts eating the damn food in front of Jesse and James.
Which, I mean, to be fair, right? If you're they're not wild, but they are abandoned, so they're basically wild. So if you rock up and you see, and you must understand English, because we can see that Ash can communicate with these. He can communicate with Pikachu. You can communicate with these other Pokemon. So Pokemon understand English. So they rock up and they see a Meowth clearly speaking English. They're gonna assume that that's Meowth must be of some importance. So if the Meowth says, "Well, I'm actually the brains of the operation," Squirtle's probably going to believe him.
Yes.
So, I mean, he's not necessarily talking out of his ass.
Actually, and I have the answer to our question about the Nurse Joy's, and this doesn't really help.
So you don't.
Well, I do, but I don't. But I guess later in the series, each Nurse Joy has a badge on their upper on the left side of their nurse outfit that has a different symbol to show that each nurse joy is different, just like the officer Jenny has a different symbol on their hat.
I see.
But it looks like that doesn't actually start taking place for a while, actually.
Well,
So they weren't as creative. Actually, yes, they were. The Nurse Joys, every single one of them on their hat has a different color. I mean, the color is a white little hat, but the cross is a different color for each city.
oh,
There we
well,
go.
shit. Okay.
Yes. So that's how it started off, and then I guess in the new Pokemon and Pokemon Journeys, they all have different symbols. So we'll get into that like 10 years down the line if we're still doing this.
Hooray.
So
So Meowth, is kind of like, go along with the plan. I got to get him to trust me. And then, we leave Team Rocket for a while. And then we go back to the main three. And they're kind of relaxing on the shore. Misty's fishing. Looks like Brock's asleep. And Ash is just kind of doing Ash things.
yeah,
And
Ash is just sitting there, and out comes Squirtle.
yeah, and it's one of the lemmings. He kind of pokes his head because Misty, is distracted because she thinks she's got a bite, and the little Squirtle pokes his head up and just goes "Wah!" and just fucking covers everybody
In just water.
And well, thankfully, and Pikachu is mad, and once again does a thunder shock without taking stock of its environment, and the Squirtle gets away, but everybody else gets fried because their clothes are soaked.
Yes. So there goes Ash's second attempt at trying to catch a Squirtle, just not having any type of luck.
Yeah, really. And then, actually, the Squirtle doesn't get away. The Squirtle jumps out of the water. I'm way off. The Squirtle gets out, so they try to have another proper battle. But the Squirtle uses its shell as a weapon.
And starts twirling itself. So basically, it's like a twirling skull bash. I don't even know what this move would be called, but hits Pikachu into the water.
Yeah, Pikachu's dealt with.
Yeah, he does. Pikachu just gets knocked the fuck out into the water, and then from there we see a Goldeen just get all sorts of happy that there's a Pokemon that's not supposed to be in the water, goes over and just pokes the mess out of Pikachu.
Essentially harpoons him because Pikachu goes flying.
Yes.
And he is out for the count, and then, come to find out the Squirtle Squad have ambushed.
You see, now if there was a damn Goldeen coming after me and I was Pikachu, would you not have just shocked the water?
Well, yes, but isn't Pikachu kind of rendered moot in the water?
True. Yeah.
So yeah, and then the squad comes out and they tie up our trio and
essentially just kidnap all of them.
Basically, because the next thing we know, they're in a cave and, Meowth is still playing the mob boss and he's kind of taunting Ash and Ash bites his tail and he gets fucking scratched for his trouble.
Yeah, he does. Like, you're already tied up and Meowth is free. Like, what came across in your mind to even bite Meowth on the tail?
If you poke at me, I'm gonna. If all I can do is bite you, I'm gonna bite you.
But Meowth did kind of deserve it because Meowth took his tail and was poking Ash in the face as he was talking to him, and Ash was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna bite you, and just bit the mess out of him. But
Yeah, he brought it on himself.
Meowth can't taste good.
No,
No.
no. And then we pan over and we see Pikachu really did get knocked 6 ways from Sunday, and because it's in the cage and it's just not doing great, and Brock is like, we need to get some potion for Pikachu. Ash goes, potions? And he goes, yeah, they sell it at the store. And
that's a hint. Like, how I'm sorry, how has it been months that he's traveling and he doesn't know what a damn potion is?
Right.
I'm sorry. But
well, we're also a couple episodes away from him essentially being confronted with the idea of forced evolution.
True.
Which hasn't come up. Because all his Pokemon, well, I guess I should say his Caterpie basically evolved on its own.
Yeah.
But
he kind of has a heart-to-heart moment with the leader of the Squirtle Squad, and basically the Squirtle Squad says you have until the sun comes up. And if you don't come back by the time the sun comes up, your friends are going to get it. So I'm going to show you compassion. You can go get this potion. But like I said, if you're not back, your friends are getting it.
Yeah, but, all things being equal, it's kind of low stakes. If you're not back in time, we're going to dye Misty's hair purple.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, so if I'm a little late, try something new. But I mean, that was just me sitting there watching it. I mean, dying, being threatened with hair dye doesn't do anything for me.
No.
I mean, I've done it before, and it looked like I killed a Smurf. I didn't care. I knew I was getting a haircut.
But I mean, in Ash's head, Ash is thinking the worst, because as we'll get into a little bit further down the line. But he legit thinks that the Squirtle are going to hurt Brock and Misty.
Well, this is true. So poor Ash is booking it into town, and he trips because he's clumsy, and then he's got a little rail car, and then he finally makes it to the general store,
and we have a cameo,
and we have literally a blink and you miss it moment with Gary as Gary goes out of the same store and absolutely wallops Ash with the door
and knocks him out.
And we have to assume that he's lost like hours at this point.
Yeah.
And so he kind of wakes up in a daze, and he goes to go in to the store only to find out the Team Rocket have already been in there.
Well, hold on. So we kind of passed the moment. So after he gets walloped, we go back to a scene inside of the cave with Misty, Brock, and Pikachu with the Squirtle Squad, and they're all just sitting there, and like they're concerned about Pikachu because Pikachu's not doing well at this time, and Brock's sitting there trying to help Pikachu by giving him confidence and saying, "Come on, Pikachu, you got this. You're gonna pull through this." And you can see Meowth is in the corner just going, "Oh shit!" Like Pikachu is dying, and I'm a part of this.
Well, yeah, and I think because obviously Meowth is despicable and he's evil, but I think there is, pardon me, there is something to be said about Pokemon code.
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously Meowth is the only one that can actually verbalize, what it would mean, because he can speak English, but it's established. We've seen a couple instances, and we're going to continue to see instances with Ash having a connection with his Pokemon. We've already we saw it in the first episode, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Meowth, who is evil, but he's a Pokemon first.
And he has compassion for other Pokemon.
Right, and we saw that, even the leader of the Wild Squirtle Squad eventually let Ash go when he saw that, Pikachu's plight was weighing heavy on him. You see tears, the emotion's real.
Yeah. And then we cut back, and this is the part that you were getting into. So Team Rocket now comes into the Pokemon shop with a damn bazooka.
Right. Ice guns.
Yeah, ice guns, but it fucking looks like a damn bazooka.
And they robbed the store of, I can only remember dental floss. What else?
Give me one moment. I have a problem with this. Okay? So there's an episode of Pokemon that got banned for the use of guns, okay? So Jesse has a damn ice gun. James has a fucking gun. Like a legit just fucking gun.
Well,
what kind of gun is this? What would you... An automatic. He has a freaking automatic.
Well, the episode that got banned, I think got banned because Ash got directly threatened
with a gun to the face.
Obviously, freaking James standing there with an automatic isn't great, and Jesse sitting there with the bazooka isn't wonderful either. But you can tell that they're not out to hurt people. They're just out to cause panic.
Yeah.
So they robbed the store. So
you remember the dental floss. Let me hear what they else they got. Oh, they got flash powder and dental floss.
Flash powder, yeah. And they say, "What's the flash powder for?" Well, you want to get rid of the Squirtle, don't you? Well, yeah. What's the dental floss? Well, that's for our teeth. I got a chuckle out of that. And then at that point, that's when Ash wakes up. And he goes in, not knowing anything about anything, and they draw on him.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, wait a minute now. I'm just trying to get some potion for my Pokemon."
Okay. How did this make the cut, but the other one didn't? They pointed guns right at Ash.
This is true.
Fucking shotguns.
This is true.
I'm sorry. This is just blowing my mind. Rewatching this and going scene by scene.
I don't have an answer for you. I do not have an answer for you.
Yeah, he walks into the store and he gets 4 shotguns just pointed at him, and Ash just puts his hands up like, "I'm not here to rob you, I swear." I have a sick Pokemon.
I have a sick Pokemon. I gotta help. And then Officer Jenny just happens to be around the corner and goes, "Well, he's not with them." And then, we do a fucking quick cut to Ash on the back of
the bike.
Officer Jenny's bike saying, fucking floor it, And then, we come to find out, of course, the bridge is out, which is something we did kind of skate over. It was part of Ash's journey.
Yeah, he was going back. The bridge snapped and he got hit by a Godine.
Yeah.
The same Godine that hit his Pikachu.
Has to be, because again, Ash went flying.
That Godine should be a fucking Seeking.
So we, yeah, it would be. I had to think about that. So then, because we can't go through the main entrance of the cave, we have to go around and find the secret entrance.
Yep. Because because this is Pokemon.
Yes, and we've got a couple more minutes to kill.
But at this point, Jesse and James are flying over the bridge, and they're putting together the flash grenades that they have found.
Yes.
Not found, but that they had just stolen from the shop.
Right. And so they're putting those together, and then we cut to Ash saying, "Well, it's kind of dark in here. I don't know how I'm going to be able to see anything." And then he's like, "Oh, I conveniently acquired a Charmander the other day." And
so lead the way, Charmander.
And he's happy. And then, Ash goes to where they were, and they're not there. The ropes.
So he's thinking the worst. He thinks that he missed it, and that Misty and Brock and Pikachu are now just gone.
Yeah, and then we hear Misty scream, and like you said, that's when Ash gets the picture in his head of Misty falling down a pit. But then he just walks out, and they're just standing right there. And Brock's got Pikachu, and they put some of the potion on, and Ash makes a crack about Misty's hair still being red. And pardon me, that's when we see Team Rocket again with the smoke bombs and the theme song.
And the Squirtle Squad does not take lightly to this, because they just helped the humans, and now the humans are attacking them again, which is not a good sign for the Squirtle Squad.
No, their heads are all on a swivel.
They're like, wait a minute, we just helped you. Like, as soon as we help you and we're the good guys for once, you're gonna throw grenades at us?
So in all the chaos and all the explosions and the rocks falling and shit, Meowth swoops down and picks up Pikachu. 4 of the Squirtles and Misty and Brock book it into an opening in the cave.
But the leader gets left behind.
Because the leader is on its back. And Ash, being goddamn hero, Mr. Saves the Day, Mr. John McClane, says, "I will save you, Squirtle," and he dives on him to shield him from the blast.
And that's where the leader gains full respect for good old Ash Ketchum.
Complete respect. And the leader then all of a sudden turns into Rambo with tears streaming down its face as he carries Ash away from danger. And up onto a ridge. And Ash basically caught him in that moment, because Ash tells him to do water gun, and he does it.
For real. But, we're not doing it any justice. Like, he lifted Ash and was dodging all of those bombs like a G. Like,
big time.
Just straight up, just picked up Ash like, I got you. I know you can't walk right now, but I got you. And just, bam, 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 left and right, just dodging all of those grenades.
You might as well have played the Terminator music, because he was just fucking
booking it.
And the Squirtle's water gun pierces the balloon, and Team Rocket blasts off again.
When they start going away, they drop Pikachu, which conveniently they drop him.
Yeah, right.
And Ash runs out and just grabs Pikachu in his arms, and then gives Pikachu the potion.
And Pikachu.
Oh wait! Oh no, not yet.
He got a little bit of it.
Yeah, but the grenades that we were just going over have now caused a forest fire.
And the Squirtles basically band together put the fires out. Again, Officer Jenny is just conveniently there again.
Yep.
Names the Squirtle Squad the firefighters for the town.
Yes.
Gives them little jackets and shit. It's adorable. And the leader is front and center in the picture, and everything looks to have worked out perfectly, and our heroes are walking away, and the leader catches up to him, and he's kind of standing there.
And Ash just turns around and basically is like, "Do you want to come with us?" And Squirtle takes his sunglasses off and just starts running towards Ash.
Well, you can tell he's a little misty-eyed, and again, he doesn't have the sunglasses. The sunglasses are gone.
No.
Like, he takes them off, and they're like, it's not like he takes a minute to put it in his shell. Like, he takes them off, and they're gone.
Yeah, and I said this off air, and I can't remember if I actually said it on air at the beginning, but this is one of the episodes of Pokemon that they have made callbacks to at least 2 to 3 times later in the series, and Squirtle still has those damn sunglasses. Actually, there's 2 more callbacks I know for sure, because there's a callback when he's in the Pokemon League, and there's a callback when Ash needs help at a later time. So yeah, he still has.
I think I've seen one of those.
Yeah, he needs help, and the other Squirtles are. I mean, they're still there, and they haven't evolved yet,
which is not right.
It's not right, but they haven't. Well, I don't want to tell the full story, but they haven't evolved because a Squirtle is faster than a War Turtle. So
I see.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll just leave it at that. And Squirtle can do a little bit more because it's a little faster.
I see. So yeah, the end of the episode is Squirtle jumping into Ash's arms, and Ash says, looks like I caught another Pokemon," and Misty fucking has a fucking heart attack.
You didn't catch him. He chose to come with you.
And by the way the next episode starts, she doesn't stop having that heart attack until we're into the next episode.
Yes.
So I brought up something that I mentioned I was going to bring up at the end of the episode.
Okay.
So obviously it makes sense, plot-wise and just for the longevity of the show, that the leader goes with Ash.
Yes.
However, wouldn't it make sense that the fella that was tormenting him in the water, the one that fucked with Misty's fishing line?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it make sense that they're getting ready to leave and the Squirtle Squad has their little jackets and they're saying goodbye? Wouldn't it make sense that the leader says, "Hey, I've seen you lately. I can tell that you have designs on battling. I've seen that spinning shell move. I can trust this fella. He saved my life. Go with him. I'll see you again."
Yeah, he did keep the sunglasses.
Well, apparently, but we don't know that.
we don't.
I don't, and it's not a major thing. It was just something I was thinking about. Because now that the leader is gone, who's the leader? Who was 1A?
There is no leader.
Well, no, somebody has to be a leader because somebody has to have the cooler sunglasses.
There is no leader. They're all firemen now.
They're all firemen. I don't know. Little things I can think of when I have too much time to think.
Oh, it's too good. But yeah, this was a fine episode, Doug.
Yeah, this was a really good one. Like I say, it's my current favorite of the ones that we've watched. like I say, I think we're getting to the point where that's going to change every week or so, every couple of weeks. Because we got a couple down the pike where it's like, this is a good one. So, the Squirrel Squad being my favorite episode, it's cool for the moment, but it's going to switch a lot.
Yeah, it is. So, all right. Well, do you have any last-minute thoughts on this episode, Doug, before we set off into the sunset for next week's episode, which is titled Mystery at the Lighthouse, or as it's translated, Masaki's Lighthouse?
Once again, I prefer Mystery at the Lighthouse. No, I mean, this was, like I say, this was a great episode, a great way to end the starter Pokemon trilogy. Ash's team. Ash has 6 now. He's got a full clip. Yeah, I mean, if he would quit dicking around and falling in holes, he probably should have like 2 more badges. If he didn't have a fight with a guy that wasn't even recognized by the Pokemon League, he'd probably be further on. But fucking hindsight.
Oh wait, like I said, I mean, if this is throwing you through a doozy now, wait until we get to the Orange League. No, the Orange League is a little. I mean, it's better, but
I remember that being a little more straightforward.
Yeah, that was straightforward. But the one I'm on right now, I was just watching it earlier today, and I'm on a whole brand new season of Pokemon, because it went from Pokemon Advance to Pokemon Advanced. I think it's called Advanced Heroes. Hold on, I can find out right now. So, okay. So he's in the Johto. So it goes Johto League, the Johto Journeys, Johto League Champions, Master Quest, Advanced Challenge. Oh shit, this goes into Advanced Battle. Like all of that is in the Johto.
Yeah, there you go.
So they were literally in the Johto from 2000 all the way until well, fuck, it looks like all the way until 05. They were there for 5 years.
Damn.
Yeah. Holy shit. I'm just putting that together now. I'm really hoping Advanced Battle is something different. I really hope, because Ash where I'm at right now, I think Ash only has 4 badges.
Oh,
he
damn.
He needs 4 more. Like these seasons need to end. Oh my gosh. I want to see the championship battle so bad, but they really know how to drag out these seasons. Holy shit. Gosh.
Yeah, you got to keep the kids coming back.
I mean, I guess so, but damn. Like, all right. Okay. Oh, no. Actually, no. I'm wrong. Indigo, Orange Islands, Johto League Champions was where they did the Johto League. He's on Master Quest, which is in the Hoenn region. Okay, so now I'm on the 3rd season. Okay, there we go. I had a brain fart. So there we go. Yeah, he's on his 4th league championship, trying to get the badges. So there we go.
There you go.
Well, all right. So you ready to wrap this episode up, Doug?
I think so.
All right. Well, then say goodbye, Doug.
Goodbye, Doug.
And this is Wrestling Chris G telling you that you better tune in next week, because next week's episode is a doozy, and it has another legendary Pokemon. Next week, we enter the Mystery at the Lighthouse. So have a good night, everybody.